Why do girls have a better handwriting than guys? Okay, I get that this question is extremely generalizing both genders. I've seen girls with horrible handwritings and guys with amazing handwritings. This question doesn't apply to each individual. But on average, from my experience, I've noticed that girls' handwriting is a lot neater, whereas guys' handwriting tends to be messier. Girls' fine motor skills develop at a younger age than boys do. We tend to teach kids how to write during that crossover period where boys are catching up. So they learn and develop muscle memory for writing with poor fine motor skills. I learned new letters in college for engineering and they look way better than the letters I learned as a kid. I think in school the girls would want to have pretty handwriting so they would go slow and stylize it. I don't think the boys cared. As a girl, my teacher used a plastic ruler on my knuckles if my handwriting was messy. But not on the boys. So for anyone who had Miss Amin in the first 4 grades, that's probably why. I used digital writing 90% of my life. Somehow my writing got back into the stadium of a 3rd grader. This week I had to write a postcard back to my cousin and his wife was part of a wedding game from the wedding they had in the summer. I was almost embarrassed how it looked in the end. Almost as embarrassed as the things that I wrote. I write romance novels and the stuff on the card sounds like the things my mom forced me to write on postcards to my grandparents as a kid. I once worked with a woman who could and would effortlessly write calligraphy freehand. I am still amazed. Girls are generally conditioned to be interested in things that require fine motor control, while boys are encouraged to do things that require more gross motor control. Girls just cared more as kids, I think. I spent most of my time drawing. Didn't care about writing at all. Do think people severely overestimate how much effort it takes to fix their handwriting. I did not have the fine motor coordination to have legible handwriting until my 20s. Based on the number of males that I've seen with similar issues, I think this is often a neurological development issue. Suddenly, at some point in my mid-20s, my hands just got less shaky when I try to make small movements. I think it's a physiological development phenomenon. I think there are probably a lot of reasons, but I think the main one would be that girls are taught it's their job to make things neat or pleasant for others, so it could be a subconscious thing. OHB, some else is going to have to read this, I should make it legible, while boys may not have that occur to them. They just think this is my work, this is how I'll do it. There's also probably social pressure. I remember feeling very jealous of a girl's handwriting in 5th grade to the point where I would try to copy her handwriting, not her work, her handwriting, cause everyone was always so impressed by it, and I guess my dumbass was jelly. I'm a girl, I don't. Sometimes I can't even understand what I wrote if enough time passed by. The thoughts are at 100x speed, but the hand can't keep up. Making it neat nice is just wasting time. It's why I prefer typing. It's faster and at least can keep up with my brain. I've scared a few Tinder matches with how fast I type. It made them feel pressured to type as fast so that the convo can keep going. I don't remember when I read it, but retinal thickness is thought to be a factor. Basically, there is a significant gender difference in retinal thickness. I found lots of scholarly articles on this, and retinal thickness affects vision, with thinner retinas better at spotting detail and thick better at tracking movement. If this is bunk, please let me know. I read it at least 10 years ago and typing it up now has given me doubts. My dad would put everyone to shame. He is very proud of his style. It's proven that girls have better fine motor skills, handwriting, sewing, etc. than boys who develop their larger muscles earlier than women. Nature and hormones, chemistry. Depending on your age, Girls were punished earlier and harsher for having messy handwriting than boys. Sometimes physically punished. Handwriting is an art form my wife spends hours practicing whereas I don't. In other words, if me man practice write with hand like wife, me have good handwrite skill too. Well, a teacher yelled at me for having bad handwriting, so I had to fix it. I always got scolded for my chicken scratch as a girl, but turns out I have ADHD, so I guess it makes sense why I didn't have the patience to write pretty, like others who had an interest in it or patience to write slower. I had have good handwriting as a guy. I'm not sure how that came to be. In school I regularly was told I have girly handwriting. To me it didn't look girly, it was just legible. I wondered if other guys went out of their way to make their writing so atrocious. I even recall a teacher mentioning to the class someone forgot their name on an assignment and, based on the handwriting, it's probably a girl's. It was mine. Boys don't care. Read a study somewhere that it's got to do with using scissors a lot. So doing crafts as toddler and at preschool helps you to write better. My son writes like a dog and he always preferred outdoor running and jungle gyms over doing crafts. So my guess is there is nature and nurture at play. Because I also write like dog shit myself and I hate art. Physical maybe better dexterity. Psychological something about hygiene education plays a role. IIRC. Society it's expected. From a nurture standpoint, traditional girl toys in the West, I can't speak for the East, require dexterity. Putting clothes on a doll is hard and requires you to develop fine motor skills. Smashing two monster trucks together doesn't require nearly as much precision. Then these kids grow up and learn to write. I know for a fact some girls in elementary school would practice their handwriting to make it cute. I just never had the patience for it, and my handwriting is passable but nothing special. I think this is no longer a trend. I see more guys with better handwriting. My brother and I both have really bad handwriting. Guess who got punished and who didn't? The only way to improve your handwriting is to consciously improve it and change it to a way you find aesthetically appealing. You never spontaneously write better. You look at someone else's handwriting, say, "Ooh, that's pretty," and fill up an entire page with words and letters until it looks more similar. Girls do this. Boys are taught not to care about that kind of thing because it's feminine. I believe it has to do with men having better rough motor skills and those of women are more often focused on the finer motor skills. Good handwriting comes from purposeful practice. But why girls often have neater handwriting than boys is influenced by social expectations and stereotypes. Not everyone fits these stereotypes. I'm a female who didn't conform to the girly stereotype during my upbringing. I used to have messy handwriting. However, when I decided to become a teacher in college, I realized the importance of having legible handwriting. So, I practiced every day until my handwriting became clear and neat. It's because girls have a third hand that's specifically for penmanship. We hide them in our hip bones until needed. I can't be fucked to write neatly. Girl here, I have terrible handwriting. Because we get yelled at for having a not ladylike ugly handwriting more often than boys. So we practice pretty handwriting to avoid getting yelled at. I wish I had the lovely girl handwriting. To be honest, somehow I didn't get to unlock that skill in life, and it was always so embarrassing how my teachers would roast my handwriting. Because they would practice. Because we spent a few hours in school practicing our handwriting while you draw penises literally everywhere. Because our brain needs to control two heads instead of one.